Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I've been having a ball this week. I've been looking at different women of the Bible. And today, Thursday, I want to go way back into the Old Testament and talk about an unusual story. But before I do, here's the setup. I remember in college we were studying ethics and we had determined that we believed it was objectively wrong to lie. God is true. God is truth. We should always tell the truth. But then the question was posed, which perhaps you've looked at as well, and it was pretty simple. If you had been hiding a Jew in your home during Nazi-occupied Europe in World War II, would you have, if German soldiers knocked on the door and said, "Do you have any Jews hidden in there?" would you have been honest? And our ultimate decision was, of course not. The lesser of the two evils, lying or betraying, releasing Jews to be killed, the lesser of the two evils is clearly tell the lie. And so while it's not a good thing to do, sometimes you've got to choose the lesser of two evil things just because of the nature of the fallen world. That was our decision then. What does that have to do with this woman of the Bible? Well, let me tell you the story of Rahab. Now, many of you watching this already know the story, so I won't go into excruciating detail, but let's get it down a little bit. It's told in Joshua 2 and the residual parts in Joshua 6. Here's the backstory. Moses has led the Israelites out of Egypt. You probably saw the Ten Commandment movie. You got all of that stuff down. The Red Sea parts, Cecil B. DeMille did a great job of it. They go through and they get to the Promised Land. Now, this is after the movie was over. They get to the Promised Land. Moses doesn't get to go into this invasion. He stays back and to die. And the Israelites are being led now by Joshua, the son of Nun. And Joshua takes a couple of spies and he sends them into the Promised Land to spy it out. Now, these two spies leave the Israelite camp, cross the Jordan River, and right across the Jordan River, a ways in toward Jerusalem and the foothills, you find the Jericho Oasis. And there had been a town there forever and ever, it seems. So the Israelite spies are there. Word gets out to the king of Jericho, the leader of Jericho, that the spies are there, and the leader's beside himself looking for him. The spies have taken up hiding in the place where out-of-town people can hide easily. It's the house of Rahab. Rahab is a harlot, a prostitute, used to having strangers in her home. And so they go into her home to hide, not for illicit purposes. And word gets out that the king's looking for them and that they may be in Rahab's house, the logical place for out-of-towners to go. So the king sends people. Now, before the people get there, Rahab says to the Israelite spies, "Hey, look, I've heard what you did. I've heard how God delivered you. Yahweh God delivered you from the hand of the mightiest army we know, the Egyptians. He separated and dried up the Red Sea. We know you're going to conquer us. Everybody is scared to death. I'm willing to hide you guys, but I'd like your assurance that when y'all conquer, you would spare the life of my parents and my brothers and siblings and my family and mine." The spies said, "Deal. We'll do it, but here's the key. You've got to hang a red cord outside your window so we know which house is yours and the army knows. And if you don't have them all collected within your house, hey, don't hold us to our oath because we're only going to save those in your house." Well, she misdirects the king's men. She gets the spies on their way. And sure enough, several chapters later in Joshua, in chapter 6, we read about the invasion and conquering of Jericho. And sure enough, they save Rahab the harlot. She hung the scarlet cord. Lots of overlays in this as people understand that to be the blood of Christ and other things. But regardless, just read the story at face value. And they save her and all of those in her household, and she lived among Israel, and so did her offspring forever. Some even view her as being in the lineage of King David, which means the Messiah as well. I don't know. Here's the key, though. In Hebrews chapter 11, and in the book of James, in the New Testament, Rahab the harlot, who lies to keep safe the spies, is heralded as being a woman of faith. She's held up as an example. What? You may be saying, a lying prostitute? Yes, because within the measure of her life and what she was doing, she heard about the Lord. She heard about what he did, and she trusted that he would keep her safe. And that's what faith is. Faith isn't a perfect life. Faith isn't having done everything right. Faith is coming to God when you encounter God and saying, I trust you to take care of me. She belongs in the Hall of Fame of Faith, and she's a model for every one of us. I trust you, God, to take care of me. One more tomorrow. That's your video thought for the day.